Alright, here's what I'm expecting you to complete while you're on this lockdown for formal inferences. So I sent this to you just now, and I also sent it towards the last end of last term. Not redoing that, so just put up with my stutter. You go to the second slide, cell phone investigation. I've had a few people share that with me and had some feedback. I've had a few people share things with me, and I've got it in my to check on pile. But I'd like every single one of you to have a go at this. Yeah, you could work in groups, but I'm going to talk about that in a little while. So I want you to make a copy of it, fill it in, and complete it back. Now, if you click on it, it'll bring you to this little thing that we started on. Problem. I haven't actually put anything for the problem, but it's going to be something along the lines of, I wonder what the difference between the medians for the age of cell phones, age of a student's cell phone for males and females are. That was a terrible problem, but the difference between medians is a key thing there. Now, if you get to analysis and you're not sure what you're doing, we did a lot of that stuff last year. I don't think I've made a video for it this year, but if I have, it will be here. Analysis. Oh, you got an example, analysis example. You can click on that and see what's there. It's for this, so it should be fairly easy to follow. But you need to make sure you've got some context. You need to make sure it's comparative. So context just means you're talking about the age of cell phones. Comparative means you're comparing boys and girls. You need to be talking about the sample, which means you're not talking about the population. So something along the lines of these students, or in the sample median is, and you have to have units. Some things don't have units. This one was seconds, I think. I can't remember. Then you've got a conclusion example. So if you're scrolling down in this thing, your conclusion. Well, actually, your inference is part of your analysis, but we'll put it here. You got some instructions of what you're going to have to do for your inference, and some stuff that you're going to have to do to make the call, and sample variability. You've got an example for sample variation. Sample variability and sample variation are the same thing. I just use them interchangeably. You can click on that, and you'll get a pretty wicked video. This guy's pretty good at videos. But I'm not going to show it to you because it's a video within a video, and that's awkward. And you've got half of it cut off by looks of things. X. Okay. So, yeah, that's what you're going to be doing there. You get some feedback, and you can be doing the same sort of thing for the memory investigation. This one's got a memory test. Well, when I did this in class, I gave everyone a memory test, and I wanted to see whether we could separate us into two groups. Last year, I think I looked at males and females, and just to see whether you could get a better, see what your memory is compared to others. So if you clicked on the memory test, it gets you to a little memory test. You start, it shows up a few things. You click on the ones that popped up, and you see how far you got. This is level 3. I got to level 12. You could have a go at this and write it down here. So here you might put Jimmy, put your name in, and Jimmy got to level 50, and so forth. I want you to put just your first attempt in. If you put in your second or third attempt in, you tend to put in your best out of the top 3, which means that you're more likely to have a higher number. To keep everything the same, just put in your first attempt. And we can just compare. I'll be interested to see whether there is a difference between males and females or any other two groups that you want to have a look at. And you get to that part there if you click on enter your results here. Then you've got the memory investigation, which again, you just make a copy of it, and it's going to hopefully be an improvement of your cell phone investigation because I've given you some feedback. And then you get a bit of feedback here. Maybe you've done so well in your analysis that I tell you don't have to do this part again, and you only have to fill in the last bit. And then there's the balance investigation, which again, you're doing the same sort of thing. The conclusions will be different on each of these. So that's why I've put all of these in. And again, if I've told you that you don't need to do an analysis, you don't just don't do it for the next one. But if I've had to give you quite a lot of little things in there, then I want you to give it a go again. There is a few helpful things when you're writing a report. There's a marking grid. What is an inference? Bootstrapping. Those I don't really remember what these are. I put these here last year, but I'm sure they'll be useful. If there's one more thing. You finish this. You've made a copy. You've made a copy of this. You've finished it. I want you to share it with more than just me. I'll put you into little groups here. Each of these groups have got at least one person that is new to statistics this year. So Spencer's new, Mara's new, Connor's new, etc., etc. I'd like you to be sharing your work with everybody in your group. So everyone in your group, and that way you can see what other people are doing, because you don't get that when you're not in class together. See where people are up to, see what other people are writing, and I'm hoping that you could maybe even write some comments, maybe ask the questions. Maybe Zing wants to ask Ethan, what did you mean by the difference between the medians or something, or maybe Zing wants to give Bella a little bit of advice about how to write to a conclusion. I don't know, so something along those lines, or it might be just like a well done. This looks awesome. But so you can so I would like you to be reading each other's things to get a bit of an idea of where we're going, and bring everyone along with you. Okay. If you have any problems with that or with the groups that you're in, just let me know. I'm still okay with if you want to work with somebody else, say Bella and Scarlett want to work together, that's okay. Just means that you're going to be sharing your work with more people, as long as I know that you're working together and not just Bella doing the work and saying that Scarlett did it with her. Alright, that's me. If you've got any questions,